So, I went and drafted last week. It's Friday right now as I do this. I meant to do this earlier in the week, but obviously I did not. It's not the first time this has happened as of late. Oh well. So we're looking here, 2 draft decks, and the first one I did pretty decent with. I came in 4th place. The other one, not so good. I came in a little bit below the middle. I'll get to that one in a moment. So this one, I came in like 4th place with this. It was a pretty solid deck. 1 rare in it. All well and good, you know. I possibly would have come in higher than 4th if I hadn't made a screw up in one game. I'll get to that in a moment too. That's what I got here. I got 3 Searchlight Geists. It's a 2/1 flyer for 3 mana. You pump 3 and a black into it to give it death touch till end turn. It's pretty solid. I mean, it's a 2-power flyer for 3 in black. At common. It's not bad at all. I've heard some people say that black in this set is horrible, and it's just like, no. There are good playable cards in black in this set. The easiest way to make sure the person playing black wins is to underestimate the color and just patch them whatever, you know. This deck was black and white. There's a Moonlight Geist. He's the Searchlight Geist's white cousin. 2 and a white for a 2/1 flyer. Pump 3 and a white. Prevent all damage dealt by and to him. This turn, well, combat damage. That's a very important distinction. Other damage still counts fine. A few other things. Oh, here's another flyer. Demonic Taskmaster. He's a 4/3 flying. During your upkeep, sacrifice a creature other than him. He's okay. I mean, he's a 4/3 flyer for 3. That alone is pretty strong, you know. In multiples, I've seen a guy with like multiples of this in a draft deck, and you kill one, drops the next one, and it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And by pretty bad, I mean it's pretty bad for the guy on the other side of the table from it. These things are a pain in the butt. A Gold Knight Redeemer. It's a 4/4 flying, 6 mana. Hits the board, gain 2 life for each other creature you control. Now, what's interesting about this also, back to the Demonic Taskmaster for a second. He's got a 4 power. This thing's got a 4 toughness. The Taskmaster can take out just about any other flyer you're going to easily find in the set. A lot of them without dying himself. That's where the Taskmaster's a big pain in the butt. Frequently, when people take him out, that it involves them 2-for-1ing themselves. They'll like lose a creature and play a card, you know? All well and good. Other funky creatures. Pair of Soul Cage Fiends. 1 double black for 3/2. When he dies, each player loses 3 life. I'll get to that in a moment. An Undead Executioner. He's a 2/2 for 4. Hits when he dies. Target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. I'm not wild about him, but he's okay. 2 Farbog Explorers. It's a 2 and a white for a 2/3 Swamp Walker. What's really funny about that is at first those were hate drafts, and round 1 I go against someone else who's playing black, so I'm like, woohoo! Yeah. Pair of Angelic Armaments. That I was very glad to get. I could have gotten a 3rd one if I wanted to, but I didn't. Actually, I was kind of kicking myself on that one too, because when the 3rd one cropped up, like 2 or 3 picks beforehand, I'd passed up something I wanted in black for the 2nd Angelic Armaments, because I'm like, no, these are good. I'll pass the playable black card, and hopefully I'll be able to get another one of those. These things tend to get snapped up, right? And then a 3rd one comes my way like 2 picks later. I'm like, really? You're bagging me, really? But 2 is good for a draft deck. 3 is, in my opinion, is too many. Because it's 4 to equip. That's a big equip cost. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty then. Mental Agony. I figured it was worth a shot. See how it worked out. It's 3 and a black for a sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. I figured it this way. It's like when I hit 4 on the mana curve, it's a slow environment. My opponent should still have cards in hand, you know? There we go. Couple of filler creatures, a corpse traders, 3 and a black for a 3/3, so it's more or less on curve there. You pump 2 and a black and sack a creature. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a card. That player discards that card. Play this ability only as a sorcery. Oh, well and good. Midnight Duelist. He's a 1/2 pro vampires for a single white. Nothing too special. He's filler. This ended up being really good. Nearheath Pilgrim. I highly recommend these guys. It's colorless and a white 2/1. Soul Bonds for lifelink. That's nice. That's nice. Had 1 recursion spell. Defy Death. 3 double white sorcery. Creature card from your graveyard to play. If it's an angel, it gets a pair of +2. A pair of +1/+1 counters. It's okay. I would rather have had Miraculous Recovery from, I believe it was from Visions, Mirage Invasions. I'd rather have gotten Miraculous Recovery back. I think I've mentioned that before. For those that don't know, Miraculous Recovery, 4 colorless, white, instant, creature from your graveyard to play, +1/+1 counter. Overall, a better card. But, hey, we didn't get it. Oh well. Defang, it's there for creature control. It's a nice one. Righteous Blow. Hey, look, there's more creature control. Ghoul Flesh. It can take out an annoying utility creature. Enchanted creature gets -1/-1 and is a zombie. A black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Deathwind, straight up removal spell. Very nice. Killing Wave. X black, sorcery. For each creature, its controller sacrifices unless he or she pays X life. What I did at one point is I cast Killing Wave for 0, declined to pay the 0 life for these 2 guys that I had on the board, and both players lost 6 life. Unfortunately, while I was working out the math, while I realized I could do that, I was at like 14, 15 life, and my opponent was at 4, 5, something like that. With no flyers, and I had a Angelic Armaments hooked up to one of these guys, and I pass turn. He comes on. He attacks at me. I take some damage. Blah 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 blah. I could have just swung and Killing Waved and sacked my dude and pulled up and won that game. I screwed up and I forgot that the damage I took brought me to like 4. Yeah. So there was a draw instead, because I sacked 2 of the Plague Fiends and we both lost 3 life twice. So I went down to 1 and he went down to like 2, and then we both went into negatives. Yeah. Yeah. Oops. Oops. Sideboard on this deck. Had 2 scrolls with Bristlebond, decided not to run them. Driver of the Dead I was thinking about running, but then I realized I only had like 1, maybe 2 creatures in the deck that fit his mana cost restriction. That is, he's a 3/2 for 4 mana. When he dies, return target creature card with a converted mana cost of 2 or less from graveyard to battlefield. I only had 1, maybe 2 cards in the deck that fit that criteria. He wasn't worth running. Pair of Homicidal Seclusion. Didn't bother with him. Commander's Authority I wanted to run, but it got cut early in the deck trimming process when I was assembling the deck, because so far in my experience, the only thing that card does is it puts a gigantic bullseye on one of your dudes. Curse Break, it's nice to have in sideboard. A few red cards in the sideboard. Demolish, a Thunderbolt, Dangerous Wager, Stone Right, and Banners Raised. Banners Raised doesn't impress me. Stone Right is nice. Soul Bonds for fire breathing. It's not bad. Dangerous Wager is just what it is. It's you play it, you pitch your hand, you draw 2. Early game, that can be bad because you can end up drawing into stuff that you wouldn't have needed if you had kept your hand. And now you can't do anything with that. Or, if you could be like just in a tight spot and you're like, alright, I can't cast any of this, or none of this is any good, I'm gonna pitch my hand draw too. It's it can work for you, it can not work for you. Thunderbolt, it's a reprint from Weatherlight. It's okay, it's not great. 4 to a flyer or 3 to a player. No big, it's all right. And we've got a lot of flyers in this set, with toughness of 4. So yeah, it's worth snapping up. You know what I'm saying? Demolish, not worth writing unless you have at least 3 of them, in my opinion. Couple of blue cards, Natural End and Flowering Lumber Knot. Whoop-de-doo. For those of you who don't know, a lumber knot is someone who goes through space looking for trees. Trust me on this one. Aren't you an astronaut? No, I'm a lumber knot. Galvanic Alchemist, it's okay. It does soul bonds to give a creature 2 colors and a blue untap. It's okay. It's not great. Spectral Prison, there's a control card. Rot Crown Ghoul is pretty much an overcosted 3/3. Doesn't impress anyone. Dreadwaters. I'd love to build a deck around that one of these days. 3 to blue sorcery. You mill your opponent for a number of cards equal to the lands you have in play. It's kind of funky. What else? Some tokens and basic lands. Prize pool, I picked up a Conjurer's Closet, Dread Slaver, and an Arcane Melee. They're all interesting cards. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with any of them, but they're interesting, you know? Second draft didn't quite do so well. I won in my first game, my first round. Second round I went up against Mox Dave, where we had a battle royal. And third round I went against Jim, who was playing a pretty straightforward red-green beats deck, and it worked. He beat me like a rented mule. But the game's against Mox. Mox had the, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, Impersonator or something crazy like that. It's a 3-drop vampire, it's a 2/2, and it has an activated ability that costs 4 and double black, to exile target creature and put a +1/+1 counter on the vampire. And the vampire gets all of the activated abilities of cards it exiled. This was bad for me, because once he got up to 6 mana, he could just ruin my board. Game 1, he got stuck on like 3 or 4 land for a long time, and I kept throwing like removal and removal and removal at this damn vampire, and he kept flickering it out, or doing other crazy stuff, finding ways to stop it from connecting. Until he finally got out the 6th land he needed, and then he just started ruining my creature base and swinging for the fences. It wasn't pretty. Game 2, he ended up getting the damn thing out again. And I managed to deplete enough of his mana with him using tricks to save it that I finally was able to pull out a way to remove the SOB. And he couldn't do anything about it. And then I knew from there it was just a matter of just swinging till I connect. And I swung, and I swung, and I swung, and I connected with nothing. I made the lovely little geek joke how it reminded me of the old Schwarzenegger movie, Conan the Destroyer. There's a scene in it, Conan's fighting this monster in this room full of mirrors, and he just can't beat the monster. But then he stops and he realizes, wait, he accidentally breaks one of the mirrors, and he realizes that where he broke the mirror, the beast is wounded. So then he starts running around and like slashing at the mirrors and like just horribly mauling the beast. And he knew that somewhere around here the wizard that was in control of all of this was hiding. And I'm sitting there swinging at Mox, And I'm like, God, there's like that scene in Conan the Destroyer. I know you're behind one of these mirrors, wizard. Because he just kept playing the shenanigans. Lots of shenanigans. Speaking of shenanigans, you might want me to say something about the deck. I know, that's crazy talk. Let's start off with some creature control. I got a Banishing Stroke, 5 and a white, Miracles for white, instant, target artifact, creature, or enchantment on bottom of owner's library. That'll get something out of the way. Oh yeah. Defang. It's not bad, it's pretty solid. Thunderbolt, talked about that earlier. A pair of Pillar of Flame. It's a single red sorcery, 2 to target creature or player. If a creature dealt damage this way, it would die. Exile it. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not. It's not shock. It's a sorcery, but it's got a nice little rider effect on it. All well and good. Mad Prophet. 2/2 haste. Tap. Discard a card. Draw a card. He's not bad. He's actually pretty solid. We'll sort here. Look, it's a Near Heath Pilgrim. Oh, those things piss people off. A pair of Spectral Guardians. It's a 2/5 that soul bonds for vigilance. Unfortunately, it's 4 and a white, so the mana cost is kind of up there. But granting one of your other nice creatures vigilance can be a very nice thing, you know? Speaking of nice things, we've got a Zealous Strike. Target creature gets +2/+2 in first strike till end of turn. It's not bad. A couple of angels. I got a Gold Knight Redeemer. You remember him. Gains me life when he hits the board equal to twice the number of other creatures I have. And a Seraph of Dawn, a 2/4 flying lifelink. The Seraph of Dawn is actually a really solid card. It really is. If you can do something to pump it up, so much the better, right? Right. Devout Chaplain. It's a 2/2. Tap it and 2 untapped humans you control. Exile target artifact or enchantment. That's interesting. Not sure what I think about it. It's interesting. I kind of like it. 2 Holy Justicars. 2/1 for 3 and a white. 2 colors white. Tap target creature. If that creature is a zombie, exile it. Once again, the abilities are very mana intensive. However, it's still a tapper. It's a nice control card. If your opponent happens to have zombies over there, hey, so much the better for you, right? Oh, look, exile that. Oh, tap it and exile it. Whatever. Filler, Midnight Duelist. Cathedral Sanctifier. It's a 1/1 that gains you 3 life when it hits the board. Whoop-de-doo. Barbog Explorer. I think the Swamp Walk came in handy once or twice. Somberwald Vigilante. He's a 1/1. Whenever he becomes blocked, he deals 1 damage to a blocking creature. All well and good. He's okay, I guess. He's a filler card. Scalding Devil. It's a 1/1 for colors in a red. Pump 2 in a red to deal 1 damage target player. It's not a bad card actually. It's really good for breaking creature stalls. A Hound of Gristlebond. 2 colors and double red for a 2/2 double strike Undying. Oh, people did not like that thing when it hit the board. It's like, yeah, it's gonna do 4 damage. I'll go ahead and kill him. I don't care. Kill him to your heart's content. He comes back as a 3/3 double striker. What you're not seeing in here is I also had a foil Farbog Explorer. Whoop-de-doo, that got kicked in the prize pool. I didn't get it back. And I had a Burn at the Stake in there, which was okay. It's interesting. It's a 2 triple red. In addition to its casting cost, tap on any number of untapped creatures you control. And it deals damage to target creature or player equal to 3 times the number of creatures you tapped for it. Yowzes. That's a lot. Or at least it can be. It can be. What do we got here? Sideboard stuff. I had 3 decent blue cards in sideboard, actually. Spectral Prison, Nephalia Smuggler, Ghost Form. Not enough to make it worth splashing by any stretch of the imagination. Black in sideboard, Marrow Bats. Hey, it's a flyer, you know. Full Flesh, Renegade Demon. Renegade Demon is just a big dumb demon. A Searchlight Geist, a Grave Exchange, which isn't a bad removal card, it's just high cost, you know. And an Appetite for Brains. Black sorcery. Opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a card from with mana cost 4 or greater and exile it. That's not so bad in draft. I don't think I'd play it in constructed, or at least no more than 2 or 3 copies tops. But it's interesting. It's interesting. That, and, you know, when someone hands it to you last pick, you just turn to them and say, "What's the matter? You don't have an appetite for brains?" I've got an appetite for brains. Yeah. 2 red cards that didn't get used. There's a Demolish and Guise of Fire. Guise of Fire is kind of interesting. Enchanted creature gets +1, -1, and attacks each turn if able. It's good for removing weenies or to force someone to attack. Mostly I think removing weenies. That's just me, I don't know. It's okay. It's not spectacular, but it's okay. Pair of Curse breaks in sideboard, never really needed them. A Seraph Sanctuary, didn't bother with it, only 2 angels in the deck. Some basic lands and tokens I picked up. A Scroll of Avacyn, a Scroll of Gristlegond. 2 Vanguard shields. I figured, what the hey, why not? Maybe they'll come in useful. I ended up not putting them in the deck. Oh well. And a Narstead Scrapper. It's a 3/3 artifact creature for 5. You pump 2 calls to give it +1/+0 till end of turn. It's kind of ghetto fire breathing. It's an okay card. It's a filler card. I just didn't see fit to run it, you know? Prize pool, I got a couple of junk blue rares, a Lone Revenant and a Lunar Mystic. Not really impressed by either. Oh well. So, I'm going to see about getting this up on YouTube and blah blah blah, yakety schmackety, and I shall catch you guys later. Be good, be safe, etc., etc.